I will get hit. I've been hit that way before.
I've tried to hit him many times.
And he tries all the time. The best you can do then is, what do you do right after that? Now let's take example for the Filipino lady in New York, where the guy just came up on her, kicked her square in the chest, and she falls to the ground. There's no way she was going to be able to stop that. At her age, at 65, she didn't even see it coming. It just happened. Now, what happened to her was she fell back and onto the ground, because it went bam, and she fell to the ground. And because of that, she had no clue. Her brain, the cortisol, everything was going blah, 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 blah. In her mind, everything was going crazy. Could not get a clear thought of anything.
Or breath.
Didn't even realize she got hit until she realized she was on the floor, and all she had was a pain in her chest. Totally freaked out. Unfortunately, she didn't come to our class. But what do we tell you guys when we're here? What would we say to tell you, here's what you got to do? And that's the next point of this class. When you take a hit, right, if Naeem were just to go wham, right, and I get hit, I don't know if I'm going to stay standing or if I'm going to fall to the ground. What we talked about when we fall to the ground, try to just cover your face and just go down, right? So let's say I knock Naeem down and he goes down to the ground. Wham! Boom. Look what he did. He falls on his back. I try to go after him. Oh, shit. Now look what he's doing. Right? No power on his end. He doesn't have to be strong, and all he's trying to do is keep me
I'm just scared.
getting near him, and he's just kicking. He kicks me in the leg really good, or right in my crotch area. I'm pretty much going to give up, maybe. Or just say, oh, that's enough of that. Or if I see that, I might just run. Because what happened? In the assailant's mind, he's more trouble than he's worth. It's not worth taking the $30, $40 he might have in his wallet. He's actually fighting back. And these bullies, when you stand up to them, you know, they, oh, nope, and they take off. That was a simple thing. All he did was fell down. Even if he falls onto his face side, he's going to flip over, wham! And then I come up, and again, he's doing that, right? So, we're going to do this, but in a very light way. And let's go to this bigger area here, and everybody just lie down on your backs. Robert?
This grass actually has about an inch.
There's a
padding.
cushion, yeah.
So it's not going to be very.
Oh yeah, Naeem's going to help everybody up.
That's all right. No worries. I give it to him.
Yep.
He's
We
the
there?
instructor.
We good?
Yep.
All right. So we had everybody sit down on the ground, and what we're going to do is we're going to show you the idea of what Naeem was doing. Again, this is a very simple idea, and it's a very simple thing. When I come in front of him and I'm trying to get to him, he's going to try to, even if I come around, you'll notice he's trying to tag me on my leg already, right off the bat. If you want to hit right for the growing, that's a good target. Anything here, right? Again, this is very discouraging to your attacker. So let me turn that over to you.
Yeah. So you're just
I got one
trying
thing
to
to add
push
real
away.
quick.
Oh,
Another
go
thing
ahead.
you can do while you're on the ground, scream for help.
Ah,
Right? Don't forget that.
Yeah.
you just
Right?
say help.
Bring
help.
attention
Or
to
the
what's
thing.
going on.
yes.
Or the thing.
The alarm, yeah.
Exactly.
If you have one of those things, if that they actually have a wristband around that, and all you have to do is pull it. The wrist stays on there. That's the key. That stays on your wrist. All you have to do is separate it. That's the way that it works. So you don't have to press a button or anything. Just rip it out, and that's
And you
it.
want to grab one of those?
Yeah.
Yours?
So while he does that, just keep in mind that just like your hands, because they're not accessible to you right now and your legs are longer, you're just trying to keep them away. If in your panic you happen to kick really hard and break somebody's knees, well then you're probably going to be better off for it. It's not your intention. Your intention is again to create that space between you and your attacker. But again, you have to understand that you're in a state of pain. You were just
Battery's
knocked
already
down.
in it?
You were hit.
Batteries in it already?
If you can accept that in your brain and move on to the next step, which is
Have it in your hand.
keep yourself
Merry
safe.
I don't know if that's
Oh,
going to
oh,
fit
no.
around the wrist.
Just go ahead and
hold
hang
on
on.
to
it.
Yeah, just hold on to
And
that. And when you're
the
ready,
shin,
whenever you
the
want to
shin.
pull it, just
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
pull it out.
the thing is that the reason why you're on the ground right now is
Pulling the,
because somebody knocked you down.
That piece.
Somebody hit you. Just like the example with Rick, he hit me hard enough to knock me down on the ground, which means I'm in pain. But that pain is going to be nothing compared to if somebody were to kick me in the head right after. Just like this, the woman in New York.
In New York, she got kicked in the head.
She got kicked in the head after she got kicked in the chest.
Again, when you go down, I'm sorry, when you go down, relax, breathe, do all the things that we talked about, because that's what's going to keep your level-headed to think about what you're actually doing. If you're freaking out, you won't do these things that we're telling you. And again, when you get home, get on the ground, have somebody run around you, try to get, try to get them to grab you somehow. And make them go.
Children, grandchildren, try to get them. Okay, you need to hug me, and I'm going to keep you away.
Yeah, make it a game. All right. So go ahead.
So again,
so we're going to walk around to you. Go ahead.
So drop. You're on your back now.
Yeah. Just go ahead.
You've regained some of your senses from the fact that you just got attacked, and you keep somebody away. Somebody's trying to keep you, and really just move your feet.
How do you turn this off once I turn it on?
Oh, you have to reconnect it.
Push it back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, and really, it's just see there. See, and as I'm moving around, there you go.
All the way around.
There you go.
You have to find ways.
There. Good.
That
Good.
takes
See,
practice.
and
Come over here
that's
now.
all. In a panic.
There you go. Watch your head. Watch your head. There you go. There you go.
have to work it in your head.
Come on, Derek. Come on,
How
Derek.
simple is that?
It's simple, but it's good to practice because it's hard to maneuver. Because you want to use your hands.
But you can see where the person is.
Help.
Yeah, to be right in front of them.
You're very cognizant, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Simple.
Keep your eyes on what it is. on the
Again,
road.
that's more practical than me trying to teach you how to do a back fist into
Oh,
a
God,
bar.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I heard that thing goes.
Yeah,
that is
We didn't even get a
God,
foot
no,
there.
I was like, that's jarring.
Yeah, that's annoying.
It really is, but that's again.
Oh,
What
thank
we're
That's your
trying
reward.
to do is change
There's
your
a
mindset.
flashlight on it.
That's your reward.
No,
There is a flashlight on those.
Yeah.
When you press the button, there's a flashlight.
Yeah,
So when you're gonna get to the car, if it's late at night or the
Hey, who are
front door,
yeah. Yeah. My company gave us one.
Actually, I have enough.
And that's another
thank
good
you.
point to bring up your cell phones and the things
Thanks,
that you
Dan.
have.
Yeah.
Because sure, that's a great tool and it's simple to use.
will you get the angle right?
But as we're talking about
Does
the
this
example from the
have
lady in
battery?
New York,
Yeah,
Okay.
there were some security guards that were fired from their job because
but it's
they
ready.
they did nothing.
Pull the black.
Exactly.
Oh,
Pull it out.
And that's the
Not
mindset
the
we're trying
back.
to change.
Let's go ahead and
That
get back to
Go
the
sit
seat.
down.
This one?
Yeah, pull that out.
Anybody?
Nope.
There you go. Now push it back in. That's 140 decibels.
That's annoying as hell.
All right, Jerry. Yep.
Wow, and a free gift too.
Thank you.
Dang, these guys are nice. These guys are awesome.
We care.
Oh, sure.
No worries. Yeah, see? Told you.
The sun is going this way.
We're gonna go ahead and take a 15-minute break, folks. Get some water if you want, or
We have ice cold water. Does anybody want a bottle? Got it?
I do. Go ahead, cut it for a minute. We have all the different schools that are offering these classes. So if you know people in these areas, you can tell them, hey, reach out to these people. They're doing the same thing that we are. So that.
All the way from Mountain.
His brother.
Oh no, we have, like I said, we have different instructors. All of the martial arts people that I know that have been on my show,
Yeah.
in those different areas that they're at, they do it at their schools.
We're in South San Francisco, and we actually have another one of these tomorrow in the afternoon.
In South City?
Yeah, in South San Francisco.
More handouts. Again, don't use this for the pet.
At least read them once, please.
Again, you have to remember, where you are in your own place. We can't begin to tell you what you're doing in your lives. We're not gonna obviously be there to babysit anybody. I mean,
Or tell
we
you to
have
stop.
to. People have got to take it on themselves to come out and learn something or do the research and get on Google, even on YouTube, wherever you can find information, to look for these things and read and learn and get as much knowledge as you can on how to protect yourself. A lot of people don't want to take that time. Oh, it's a waste of time. I'm never going to be a victim. A couple of days later, they become a victim and they wonder why. And that's the sad reality of the way the world is. You know, we don't want to take the time to keep ourselves healthy. My wife is always jumping on me, you know, you're getting fat, you need to lose weight. I'm like, yeah, I will. You know, and then you just start to let yourself go and blah, blah, blah. But it's on you to do that. And if you don't, whatever happens of it is on you. So again, we can only give information. It's up to you, the individual, to do what you need to do for yourselves to keep yourself safe. Whether that's calling your family members, you know, or your friends to go shopping with you or wherever you want to go, that's important. That becomes part of your thing that you need to do for you. You know, and if your family doesn't want to help, shame them into it. You know, hey, if I get hurt, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna cut you out of my inheritance. You know, I'm gonna give it to Rick and Diane. At least they help me, right? But it's the things that you have to do to keep yourself safe. You know, you want to add?
Well, I was just gonna say that everything that you've heard here today and everything that you saw and even the things that you practiced, none of it's gonna work.
Yeah, none of it will work.
None of it will work
Unless
you actually practice it and you live it and you make it a part of your daily habits. Because until it becomes second nature, it really is just some good idea that you heard. But like all good ideas, they are worthless unless you put them into action.
Right, and we can't stress that enough. You know, a lot of times people come to our seminars, and oh, that was great, and after that, nothing. You know, they didn't do anything with it. They just, and then we see them down the, you know, a couple of months later. He goes, yeah, I forgot that stuff you told me. You know, what was that thing you were saying about on the floor and blah blah blah?
It was good. Yeah,
but it was a great class. You know, so again, we can't stress enough that you got to keep it up. You got to, you know, just like the pepper spray. If you're not going to use it, don't bother. Because if you don't practice it, it isn't going to work, and you're probably going to hurt yourself more than you are going to help yourself. So,
and if you guys have any questions, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Any reminders?
One thing I'd like to add is, these guys said a couple of good stuff today. What you have to bring home now is figure out, I know I need to change my habits. What were those things that they said? That's the most important part. Figure that out on the way home. Figure out the new changes that you're going to apply into your daily lives, and then slowly work them in.
Yeah.
Just like you come out your door, who's here? Before you even begin to step out. Coming home the same way. Because you don't want to get all up to your door, open the door, and now they're pushing you in. They're pushing you inside your door. And that you don't want either. Right? But again, the habits that you're going to create, think about that on the way home. And figure out, when do I start to make these changes in my life? And that's controlling your life and controlling what you do and what happens to you, because that you've taken that affirmative action towards that. So that's my final message.
Well said.
Good. All right, so before we get you guys out of here, we're going to talk about legalese. You know, because what happens after the fact?
Yeah.
When you got injured or somebody mugged you, or whatever else. Here's what the police will expect. The first thing they ask you, do you know what happened? First question. And most responses are like, I do not know. It happened out of nowhere. It was so fast, I have no clue. But believe it or not, your brain, like we said earlier, picks up a lot of things. From the time you call the police department to the time that they get to you, breathe, relax. Before they get to you, start jotting things that you do remember. What happened? How, you know, when that guy was 10 feet away, 15 feet away, 25 feet, yeah, this guy was coming up to you. What was he wearing? Start jotting them down. You know, talking into your cell phone if you don't have paper and pencil. We have, you know, modern technology is incredible. All the things that we have available, you know.
Touch the button.
Yeah, just push the button and start recording yourself. Well, these guys, blah, blah, blah. But these are the things that they're going to expect, because in your panic, you're not going to remember anything. But if you can, after the incident, sit down. What was that thing that he said? Oh, relax, and then start piecing it all together. You know, start from the beginning, how far they were as they got closer and closer. I did notice this. I did notice that. There was a car over here. There was a guy standing over there. What was he? Oh, yeah, he was. All these things that you will recall them. You know, that it's in your head.
That's an exciting story.
Yeah, but in your panic and that cortisol going, your brain isn't going to give it to you. You gotta relax. And a lot of times, like Nain had once said, 2 weeks later, you're in the shower and he goes, "Oh, I remember the name of that song.
Right.
Oh, I know."
That's right.
Yeah, right? But that's because you're in your most relaxed state. You're in the shower, and you remember everything. Yeah, the best ideas come from a shower, right?
Yeah.
But again, once an incident happens, sit down, breathe, relax, try to get the nerves out, stop shaking. Breathe, relax.
It's
Then try
scary.
to-
It really is.
Then try to recall what you can. Start jotting it down. When the police get there, here's all the things I remember.
He
And
wore
you're-
this, he wore
yeah.
this, he's this tall.
Now, the other part of the legal aspects is if you manage to fight back, how far is too far, right? If Nain would have punched me and I survived that, oh good, now I'm going to fight him back. I pull out my knife and I stab him 20, 30 times. Guess who's going to jail? Right? Because now that's excessive force. Now I've become the suspect. And that's why we never say sit there and fight with the guy. Try to take off. Hit, release and run. And these techniques that we showed you, it's all about just try to get distance. Even the thing on the ground.
Keep
just
the
keep
space.
them away. Keep them
That's it.
away. Keep that distance. I guarantee you, even as big and as much as Dave looks, he could be overpowered by some young kid who's on drugs, who's pumped up with all kinds of stuff,
Blindsides.
and they could be hitting him really good, but he's like, and he's still going because of the drugs and the alcohol. Even police have had hard times knocking down somebody who's been on PCP, and they'll tell you, guy doesn't feel it. They're hitting him with their sticks and everything, and nothing. They're shooting the guy, and he's still coming. So again, why go to that? Release and run. Get out of there. But when that happens, don't try to fight back. Just cover your head. Get on the ground. Then when the police gets there, give as much information. Even things that you don't think are relevant, tell them. What's not relevant? Well, I saw two guys like a half a block. That might have been the guys following you. When you're walking by, because again, we're trying to tell you, be aware of your surroundings. You walk by, you see two shady guys, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But then when you're relaxing, you go, I did see two guys. That's information.
What you had for breakfast is not relevant information. But
Right. Unless it's really good and I can come over for breakfast, then maybe, So, again, no detail no little detail is not important. It's important. You say as much as you can. If you can jot it down, great. If you can't, get your phone, start talking on your phone. Because that is what's going to help them solve anything. And unlike a lot of people, they won't report it because, one, they may be embarrassed. Oh, I got mugged. I don't want to tell anybody. Don't do that. Call the police. Give them the information. Rat these people out. Maybe you might know them or whatever. You got to do something. You got to report it. Make a stand. Let them hear you.
They scare guests and they have knife.
Yeah.
Weapon.
Now, the thing about that, just because, and I'm glad you brought that up, Karen. The thing about weapons, it's just to intimidate you. Most muggers will not try to hit you with their weapons unless you try to fight back. That's number rule one for them on their side. Because if they get caught, now they had a weapon, assault with a weapon, battery.
just give up what they're
Yeah,
asking
give
for.
them your wallet and let them go. Because the moment you fight back and they have to use that, then you're asking for trouble. But 9 out of 10 times they will not use those weapons. Like the people that you see are getting hit, they're either getting punched or kicked. It's rare, but it happens that somebody used a knife on somebody. And that's a little more excessive. But for the most part, most thugs, they just want to hit somebody and then they want to take off, which is what they normally do. And that's what you see in a lot of cases. The person got hit and the guy fled.
Yeah. Bullies.
Bullies, So, again, know that once you get hit, you're probably going to be okay. You'll survive it. Most likely you are going to survive.
It'll hurt, but
Yeah.
we have
But
to
again,
accept,
by that
yeah.
time, you're going to get hurt. It was irrelevant. It's a moot point to think about that.
It's what you do after.
It's what you do after. When you get up, report it. If you don't report it, then that allows that guy to go free
And do it to someone
and do it to
else.
somebody else, somebody you may know. And when you could have done something about it. And that's the biggest problem that police are having, is nobody wants to report it. They don't want to get involved. They don't want, well, what if the guy comes
I
back?
read down the layout paper all the time. It would
Sadly.
not cooperate with me.
would not give a statement.
Yeah.
Would not, they don't want to be where the grass are.
You know, and you know, and your friends are gonna say you're crazy. You shouldn't have talked to the police. But you're crazy if you don't, because next week the guy who told you that might be the guy that gets mugged. And in which case you're like, well, good. See, now why do you feel that? But you know, you got to do something, folks. You got to voice it out, tell people. You know.
Well, I think I just want to add that you also have to help others.
Yeah.
You said spread
And,
this
and
out.
that's yeah.
And what we do at the college, because if you're familiar with Solano College or Contra Costa College, they're not very safe campuses. The lighting's very bad, especially the early nights in the winter semester. It's pitch black out there with no lights.
Right.
So we make it a point to walk out together, or the janitor will walk us out, or sometimes we walk out with the janitor so they're safe, because they've been attacked on campus
Right.
too, the night shift janitors.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you do. And I also teach English as a second language.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of my students, I have a lot of Mexicans and Central Americans
Already scared.
who are already scared because they're undocumented.
Right.
But they don't feel they can explain what happened in English.
Right.
And so you can always offer, I'll stay with you, I'll go with you, I'll make sure you get an interpreter, even if you don't speak their language.
And that's the job of that bystander, that person who you're hanging out with
You
and
need to go
walking
over
with.
and say,
Yes.
I'm going to stay with you.
Yeah.
It's gonna
And that's a beautiful point, and that's what we're really trying to change. If you've noticed, our entire conversation today has been about changing the mindset of both the attacker and the people around us. We need to speak up for each other. And it starts by being able to speak up for ourselves. Because if we can't do it for ourselves, we're definitely not going to do it for someone else.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need to consolidate our ideas and say, look, we are not going to be victims. Not just you, but us as a community. And be able to say, hey, you, what are you doing? And speak up. And there's 4 or 5 of you just discouraging somebody from an attack, or just distracting them long enough for somebody to take the victim to safety. Demand that somebody calls 911 while you help this person, that
Yeah,
they
and be
call somebody
specific.
else.
Hey, Dave, call 911. You call the paramedics. You know, Peg,
You,
know, go get me
record.
a drink. You know, somebody video. I mean, I hate. You ever watch those videos where 20 people have the cameras out going,
Yeah,
and nobody is helping
Nobody's
the victim?
helping the victim.
Right.
Put the damn phone down. We already have 20 cameras on this guy. Help.
That's what needs to change.
That's the mentality that needs to change.
I think also, if you become a victim, the worst thing is if you don't do anything, then you feel even more victimized and you feel
Right.
even more fearful, because you feel like you've lost control, you've lost
Yeah.
the power. And it's the reason that if you do fight back by doing all the things you're saying, report it, blah blah blah, get details, then you feel at least I took some of that power back.
Yes, correct.
And I'm even more aware and better prepared, hopefully, for the next time or to help somebody.
Here's a quick change in verbiage for that mindset to really sink in. Be a survivor instead, not a victim.
Right.
A survivor prepares, and if things go wrong, they make it out alive. It was tough, but they're alive to talk about it.
And they survived.
That's a survival mentality versus a victim mentality.
Oh, they hit me. They beat me up.
Oh, poor me, woe is me. No,
I want to report
I'm
it.
still around here. I'm
Yeah.
going to do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen to somebody else. Through preparedness and information.
Great. Well, folks, we've kept you guys
Thank you.
long enough. We had a great time. We hope you enjoyed what you guys learned. And again, practice it. Tell your
Yes,
friends.
yes.
You know, Danny's here every Tuesday night for karaoke.
Yeah.
Tuesday?
He'll have the stage set up soon enough. He'll have a cash bar,
Is that
and